Hi students, we are discussing system of particles and rotational motion. In this chapter, the first concept is center of mass. So I introduced the center of mass for a system of particles. I discussed 5 classes, okay, 5 lessons, and the next one is rotational motion. So a body may have different types of motions. First we studied translatory motion, rotatory motion. So different types of motions we are going to study. So that is types of motions we are going to discuss. The types of motions. The first one is the translatory motion, rotatory motion, oscillatory motion, periodic motion, simple harmonic motion, simple harmonic motion, pure rolling motion. These are the different types of motions we are going to study. The first one is, these are the types of motions. The first one is translatory motion, that we completed. Okay. Now we are going to study rotatory motion. Okay. In this chapter we are going to study rotatory motion. We are completed this translatory motion. So before going to this rotatory motion, I want to remember you once again the translatory motion. I want to refresh your knowledge in translatory motion before going to rotatory motion. Okay. These are the motions we are going to study one by one later. But in this chapter, this is a separate chapter, simple harmonic motion. In this chapter we are going to study pure rolling, and this oscillatory, periodic, simple harmonic motion we studied in different chapter. Okay. Now the first one is, now in this class I want to explain these two. Okay. So the first one is a translatory motion. So far what we studied, translatory motion. So what is a translatory motion? When a body, the rigid body, all particles of the body maybe moves in a straight line or curved path. All particles of the body. Before going to this, I want to say rigid body. So I want to explain this rigid body. Okay. Rigid body. What is a rigid body? Okay. Rigid body means it is a the body, it seems to be rigid. That means even external forces acting on that object, that body, the shape of the body, it does not change. It does not undergo any deformation. That means the shape of the body will remain the same, and the separation between the two particles will remain the same even though external forces acts on it. Such a bodies we can call it as rigid bodies. Okay. Generally a body consists with many material particles. A body consists of a rigid body. A rigid body consists of many material particles. That is system of particles, material particles, and the shape does not change. The shape or it shape does not change. The body undergoes no deformation. Body does not undergo any deformation, any deformation, does not undergo deformation when external forces acts on it. External force acts on it. The body does not undergo any deformation when external forces acts on it. Such bodies we can call it as rigid bodies. That is, the separation between the bodies, the separation between two particles, or points will remains the same. Such bodies we can call it as rigid bodies. Examples for rigid bodies: so a body projected stone, vehicles, metals, etc. Strictly speaking, there is no perfectly rigid body in the nature. So, in nature, there is no perfectly rigid bodies. In nature, there is no note. Okay, perfectly in nature, strictly speaking, there is no rigid body. There is no perfectly rigid bodies. That means the bodies undergoes a little bit deformation. That deformation we can neglect here. Okay, then such bodies we can call it as rigid bodies. Now, hence this chapter we can also call it as mechanics of rigid bodies. We can also call it as mechanics. We are studying mechanics of rigid bodies. Okay. So the first I introduced what is meant by a rigid body. Now the translatory motion. In translatory motion, what we have in translatory motion? So translatory motion. So I am going to explain this translatory motion. The motion of a body, rigid body, the motion of a rigid body may be straight line. Rigid body may be in straight line or curved line. Straight line or curved line, curvilinear path. Okay. The motion of a rigid body may be in a straight line or curvilinear path. Okay. So such a in translatory motion, all the particles of the body in translatory motion, all material particles, all particles of the body, because that body consists of many particles. In translatory motion, all particles of the body have same displacements, same displacements, velocities and accelerations. That is equal to same accelerations, same displacements, velocity and accelerations. That is same as the center of mass. That is same as the center of mass of the body. So we are center of mass of the body. So I introduced this concept of center of mass. So that rigid body, it has a center of mass. So all the particles of the body will have same displacement, same velocity, same accelerations as that of equal to center of mass of the body. Okay? Center of mass of the body. Such a motion we can call it as translatory motion. So the examples for this translatory motion is, what is this examples? Moving bus, moving train, running man, projectile, etc. These are some examples of translatory motion. Motion of train. Okay, moving train, running man, projectiles is the example for translatory motion. So far we studied this translatory motion. Now for this to cause this translatory motion, it requires external force required to cause motion. Okay, so some external forces is required, that is loss of motion. Fext is equal to m into acm, that is ma. So we can apply Newton's second law in this translatory motion. Okay, now we are going to discuss this rotatory motion. Now in this class I am introduce this rotatory motion. Okay, when this rigid body is fixed at a point, now rotatory motion, rotatory motion or rotational motion. Okay, so when the rigid body is fixed at a point, then the body cannot move, and remaining particles of the body, suppose there is a rigid body, you fix this rigid body at a point. So this is fixed, you fix a point in the rigid body, you fix this rigid body. This rigid body have any shape, rigid body. Okay, so the rigid body may have any shape. So if a point is fixed on the rigid body and you apply external force, then the body has a tendency to rotate. Then the body does not move, but it has a tendency to rotate about this fixed point. Okay, a line drawn from this fixed point, vertical line, we can call it as axis of rotation. So this is axis of rotation. So axis of rotation. Okay, so if you fix a point here on the rigid body and you apply external force, So what happens? The body, it rotates about that fixed point. So a line passing through this fixed point is called axis of rotation. Every point on that axis of rotation, the particles will be at rest only. So you are fixed at this point. The remaining particles of the body, see, the remaining particles of the body will be rotates like this. So you will rotate like this. So that is axis of rotation. So if you consider a particle on this axis of rotation, so this is a rigid body. This is axis of rotation. Okay. This is axis of rotation. If you consider a particle's masses m1, which is at a distance r1 from axis of rotation, another particle of mass m2, which is at a distance r2. Okay. So you consider to this rotating motion. This particle will rotate like this in a circular path. This particle will rotate like this, different like this. So this is the axis of rotation. Okay, what we can call it as axis of rotation. Axis of rotation, this line. So these particles will rotate in a plane. That plane of rotation is perpendicular to this axis of rotation. The different particles, this rigid body will have different particles. Rigid body will have different particles. So these different particles will lie at different distances from axis of rotation. Well, all the particles of this rigid body will have, it will rotate like this. These are the plane of rotations is different circles. You will find all these different circles will lie having only one center, that is axis of rotation. Okay, and these particles, see, for all these particles there will be it will rotating. So it is similar to this rigid body rotation is similar to a particle rotates in a circular path. So this motion of a rigid body, about a rotational motion of a rigid body is similar to a particle is in circular motion. So we discussed circular motion of a particle. Okay. So the same parameters we are using here in this also. These particles will have displacements, angular displacements, angular velocities and angular accelerations, similar to linear displacement, linear velocity and linear accelerations in translatory motion. Okay, but these particles will have a common phenomenon, that is common parameters, that is all the particles at a particular instant of time they have same angular displacement, same angular velocity, same angular accelerations. Then such a motion we can call it as pure rotational motion. So the rotational motion, when a body, rigid body rotates about an axis, when a rigid body rotates about an axis, when a rigid body is fixed at a point, rigid body is fixed at a point, if external force acts on it, then it rotates about that fixed point, about that fixed point, okay, it is set into rotational motion about the fixed point. A line passing through fixed point, a line passing through fixed point is called axis of rotation. Axis of rotation. Okay. On this axis of rotation, all particles on the axis of rotation, all particles on the axis of rotation are at stationary, or at rest. All particles on the axis of rotation are at rest. So this other particles are rotating about other particles of the rigid body, rotates in a plane perpendicular to axis. Okay. So these different particles will have these particles of rotation. Now here in rotatory motion, different particles, the motion of these particles, planar motion of these particles, the motion of a rigid body, the rotation of a rigid body, is similar to a particle in a circular motion. Okay, the rotation of a rigid body is similar to a particle in circular motion. Okay, so it has, so all the particles of the rigid body, have same angular displacements, angular velocity and angular acceleration. Okay, all particles of the rigid body, when they are in rotatory motion, have same angular displacements, angular velocity and angular accelerations. Okay, such a motion we can call it as rotational motion. Here, this axis of rotation, is similar to this axis of rotation may be real, or axis of rotation may be real or imaginary. Axis of rotation may be real or imaginary. Okay, so if you consider in case of a fan, so there is a rod fixed, there are 3 blades. Okay, so the 3 blades will be like this. So the fan will rotate about an axis. So this is a ceiling fan. This is a ceiling fan. Okay, it is fixed. Okay, this fan has 3 blades and it is rotating about a fixed rod. Fixed rod. This fixed rod is axis of rotation. That is axis of rotation. Axis of rotation. You take this example. In case of ceiling fan, it consists of 3 blades. Assume this rigid body fan consists of 3 rigid particles, 3 blades. These blades are fixed to this rod, and these blades are rotating, and this rod is fixed one. Okay, so as it is rotating, okay, here the blades will have rotates with a uniform angular speed. All the blades 1, 2, 3 will have same displacement, same velocities, same accelerations, angular velocities about this fixed axis. This is called axis of rotation. Okay, now this blades of the fan is in pure rotatory motion. This is fixed axis of rotation. Okay, this is in case of real. And in case of earth is rotating about its own axis, rotation of the earth. So that is rotation of the earth. Earth rotates about itself. So earth is we are assumed a perfect spherical one, and it is rotating about its an axis, that is passing through north and south poles, geographical north and south pole, which causes day and night. So this rotation of the earth, self rotation of the earth, what is this? Self rotation of the earth, which causes day and night. Here, where is the axis of rotation? An imaginary axis which is passing through geographical north and south. Okay, so that is imaginary axis. All the planets are revolving around the sun. Where is the axis of rotation? Where is the axis of rotation? Passing through center of the sun. Okay, it is imaginary. Passing through a line passing through center of the sun is an axis of rotation. That is imaginary axis. So this axis of rotation, it may be real or imaginary. It may be fixed or rotating also. Suppose in case of a top, children will play with the top, isn't it? This axis of rotation, this is axis of rotation. Okay, this is there is a needle here fixed. What is this? Top. Children play with the top. So here this is the axis of rotation. On this axis of rotation, the top will rotate. Children will play with this. To this top, a string is connected and string is wound. That string is, you pull the string, then that the top will rotate. Okay, so where is the axis of rotation? The needle. That needle axis of rotation is also rotating. So that axis of rotation, sometimes it may not be fixed. It has rotatory motion also, or it may be translatory motion also. See, in this case, you consider this example. In this example, this is a rolling motion. What is this? Rolling motion. Rolling motion. You consider this rolling bodies. What is the rolling bodies? Cylinder. Cylinder. Suppose a cylinder rolls over a surface. So it rotates like this. cylinder. Where is the axis of rotation? Where is the axis of rotation? At its center. This is the axis of rotation. Okay. When the cylinder rolls, this axis of rotation is also translatory motion. So, axis of rotation is also having the translatory motion. So, this axis of rotation may be fixed one, may be real one, or imaginary one, or it may be fixed one. Sometimes that axis of rotation may be translatory motion in case of pure rolling motion, and that axis of rotation may be in rotatory motion in case of torque. So, that is about the axis of rotation. Okay. In rotatory motion, here suppose this is the earth rotating about its, here all the particles on the surface of the earth will have same linear displacement, same linear angular velocities, same displacements, angular displacement, same angular velocity, same angular accelerations as we studied in circular motion. But their linear velocities are different. Linear velocity of the particle m1 and m2 are different. So, this linear velocity and angular velocity, they are rotated by using the formula V is equal to R omega. So, all the particles will have, so here the particles will have different linear velocities, but particles have different linear velocities, and but particles in rotatory motion have different linear velocities and accelerations and linear accelerations, that is tangential accelerations, different tangential accelerations. These particles will have, all the particles will have linear velocity. Relation between linear velocity and angular velocity, we have relation between linear velocity, we studied already that one, linear velocity and angular velocity. What is that? V is equal to R omega. What is V here? Linear velocity. What is omega? Angular velocity. So, what is R? Position vector. So, this we can also write it as V bar is equal to omega bar cross R bar. This we can also write it as omega bar cross R bar. Okay. These equations we studied already in circular motion. The same expressions we can use here, where V is linear velocity, omega is, what is V? V is linear velocities of the particles, linear velocities, they are different. What is omega? Angular velocity. How angular velocity is defined? d theta by dt. As we defined, angular velocity is 2 pi by, or angular displacement by time. That is, we can also write it as 2 pi by, for one rotation, 2 pi by t. What is t here? Period of rotation. That means time taken for one rotation. If t is the time taken for one rotation, then 2 pi by t is called its angular velocity. Its units we have seen, rad second inverse. Okay. What is its unit? Radians rad second inverse. Okay. So, here the particles m1 and m2, they have different linear velocities. Suppose you want linear velocity of particle m1, it is v1 is equal to r1 omega. What is the linear velocity of V2? R2 omega. So these particles m1 and m2 have same angular velocities because this rigid body is rotating about an axis. These different particles, all the particles of this rigid body have same angular velocities but different linear velocities. This linear velocity increases as this distance of that particle from axis of rotation increases. That means as the particle is more distance, then the linear velocity will be more. If the particles are nearer to axis of rotation, then the linear velocity is less. So V is equal to R omega. Okay. On the axis of rotation, their linear velocity is 0 because the particles, we are assumed that the axis of rotation, on the axis of rotation, all the particles are at rest. Okay. So that is about rotatory motion. Now the kinetic energy of rotational motion. So we can apply this kinematics equations here also. We can apply kinematics equations of circular motion in rotatory motion also. Okay, we can apply kinematic equations as circular motion also. What is the equations of motion in kinematics? V is equal to u plus at. Okay, this is first equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Second equation of motion. Omega square minus omega naught square. Sorry, v square minus u square is equal to 2as, and Sn is equal to u plus a into n minus half. These are the kinematics equations in translatory motion. The similar equations in circular motion is omega is equal to omega naught plus alpha t, and theta is equal to omega naught t plus half alpha t square, and omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 alpha theta, and theta n is equal to omega plus omega naught plus alpha into n minus 1. These are called kinematic equations of circular motion. These equations we can use in rotatory motion also. These equations we studied in circular motion. Okay. Next one. And the kinetic energy of a rotating body. Kinetic energy of a rotating body. Rigid body. Okay. Kinetic energy of a rotating rigid body. Okay. Now let us consider a rigid body which is rotating about an axis. Okay. This axis may be at its center, or it may be at its edge, or it may be lies outside also. Okay. This axis of rotation may lies outside also. Okay. And this rigid body consists of different particles. All this constitutes this rigid body. Okay. This rigid body consists of many material particles. It is a summation of many rigid. It is a summation of many material particles. I consider one of them many particles. I consider few particles m1 and m2, whose masses of the particles are m1 and m2, where they are at a distance r1 from axis of rotation. m2 is at a distance r2 from this axis of rotation. and linear velocities are v1 and v2. So r1 r2 are their position vectors and omega is the angular velocity of this rigid body. Okay, so consider a rigid body rotating about an axis. I consider that axis as AB. AB is axis of rotation. Axis AB. All the particles of the rigid body, consider a rigid body is rotating about an axis AB with angular velocity omega. Okay, so it is rotating about this axis AB. Okay, this is axis of rotation AB. It is rotating like this. So it is rotating like this. So with an angular speed omega. So this is axis of rotation. It is rotating like this. So angular velocity is omega. Okay. So consider a rigid body rotating about an axis AB with angular velocity omega. Okay. Now different particles are at different distances and linear velocities from axis of rotation. Different particles are at different distances, linear velocities from axis of rotation. But they have same angular velocity omega. Okay, now I want the kinetic energy of this rotating body. So kinetic energy of the rotating body I want. Okay, that is, this body consists of many particles. I consider one of the particle as m1. So what is the kinetic energy of m1? Half m1 v1 square, kinetic energy of the first particle, plus kinetic energy of the second particle, m2 v2 square, and so on. Like this, there are many particles. That is summation of all kinetic energies of all the particles. It will give kinetic energy of the total rigid body. Okay, so this can be written as these particles, but V is equal to, I can write it as but V1 is equal to R1 omega square, R1 omega, V2 is equal to R2 omega, and so on. Okay, so I will write so this kinetic energy of a rigid body rotating, I will write here, this kinetic energy of a rotating rigid body Ke is equal to half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square, and so on. That is half m1. Instead of v, can I write r omega, r1 omega square plus half m2 r2 square omega square plus, and so on. Okay, like this there are many particles and this one is half. I assumed that all the particles will have identical particles. The different particles, the masses of the particles infinite. I assumed that assume m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3. Otherwise, add all these particles, infinite particles. So m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to m, like this. I assumed that this rigid body consists of I divided into number of particles, each having the mass m, which is infinitely small particles. Okay. So this can also be written as half m. This can also be written as r1 square plus r2 square plus and so on rn square. I assumed that there are n particles, okay, into omega square. Okay. I assumed that number of particles n, where n is number of particles. I assumed n is equal to. Okay. So this can also be written as n particles, each having the mass m, half. I multiply with n into m and divide with n, r1 square plus r2 square and so on plus rn square by n. So I divide this with n, divide and multiply. So its value, it won't change, omega square. That is n into m, number of particles into m, mass of the each particle. Mass of each particle, let it be small m. Then capital M is total mass. Mass of the rigid body. What is capital M? Mass of the rigid body. This rigid body, let it be capital M. So this capital M is equal to, we have number of particles into mass of the each particle. Okay. You will get a total mass of the rigid body. So here, instead of that, I am writing half m, total mass of the rigid body. This, instead of this, r1 square plus r2 square plus rn square by n, I represented with letter k square. K, I will introduce the k into omega square, where k is a radius of gyration. GYRATION, radius of gyration, G. Okay. M is mass of the rigid body. K is radius of gyration. What is radius of gyration? I define K is equal to, or it has another name, root RMS distance. RMS distance of all the particles. RMS distances of all the particles. Okay, RMS distance means root mean square. What is RMS? Root mean square distance of all the particles from axis of rotation. Okay. So this K we can define as, I will write K here, formula for K. Okay. So the formula for K is, K we define as, I will write here, K is equal to square root of r1 square plus r2 square plus and so on rn square by n, number of particles. Okay. So R1 is, what is R1? Distance of the particle m1 from axis of rotation. What is R2? Distance of the second particle from axis of rotation. So what is R1 square plus R2 square plus and so on, Rn square by n under root. Root mean square of the distances of all the particles from axis of rotation. That we can write represented with the radius of gyration. Let it be k. So this we can call it as, that is half, we can mk square, we can write it as another letter I omega square. So the kinetic energy of a rotating body, kinetic energy of rotating body is given by half I omega square. What is I here? Where I is called moment of inertia. I is called moment of inertia. Okay. So here I introduced the two letters. The first one is moment of inertia. It is represented with the letter I. Second one is radius of gyration. It is represented with the letter k. Okay. So the rotational kinetic energy of a body is half I omega square. Now what are the units of k? Now let us see these units of this k. Okay. Okay. So here units for k. What is k? Radius of gyration. Radius of gyration. Units meters. What is units? Meter. SI unit. Meter is nothing but distance. So it is the effective distance. Instead of these particles are at different distances, different particles are at different distances. Instead of saying that, we consider this rigid body, entire mass is supposed to be concentrated at a point. What is that? It's the center of mass. So that center of mass is at a distance k from axis of rotation. From axis of rotation. Okay. So this is axis of rotation. So the body rotates like this with an angular speed omega. So instead of saying this different particles are at different distances from axis of rotation every time, now we made it into simple, that is the entire mass of this rigid body is supposed to be concentrated at a point. That point is called center of mass. Then the distance of that point from axis of rotation, we can call it as radius of gyration. Thus we can define this radius of gyration. So how we can define radius of gyration? The first definition is the root mean square distances of the particles from axis of rotation. That is the first definition. Or we can define the entire mass of the rigid body is supposed to be concentrated at a point, then distance of that point, a point name, what we can call it as that point, we can call it as COM. That point we can call it as COM. So the entire mass of the rigid body is supposed to be concentrated at a point, then distance of that point from axis of rotation is called radius of gyration. Okay, it is represented with letter K. Clear this radius of gyration? Or we can define the effective distance of all the particles from axis of rotation. What is its formula? R1 square plus R2 square plus and so on Rn square by m. Okay. So I will give this simple example to understand this radius of gyration. Suppose the first particle is at a distance 1 centimeter, second particle is at a distance 2 centimeters, third particle is at a distance 3 centimeters. Suppose it consists of 3 particles which are at a distances R1, R2, R3. Then what is K? K is equal to square root of, suppose 3 particles. Suppose for 3 particles, suppose I assumed that, for example, to understand radius of gyration, suppose that system consists of 3 particles. 3 particles, first particle is at a distance 1 centimeter, second particle is at a distance 2 centimeters, third particle is at a distance 3 centimeters. Then instead of saying like that, what is the radius of gyration? Square root of R1 square, 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square by number of particles is 3. Okay. So that is square root of 1 square 1, 1 plus 2 square 4 plus 3 square is 9 by 3. So this is 10 root 14. So this is 10 root 14 by 3. Units are centimeters or meters. Centimeters. You can convert centimeters into meters. So SI unit is meters. SI unit is meters. Okay. So that is about radius of gyration. And the next one is moment of inertia. Okay. The next one is moment of inertia. Next letter, moment of inertia. So I used I letter is moment of inertia. Okay. So I am using rotational kinetic energy. Rotational kinetic energy of a rigid body. We got it as K is equal to, K suffix R is equal to half I omega square. Okay. If that body rotates with an angular speed omega, a rigid body rotates with an angular speed omega, then its rotational kinetic energy is half I omega square. What is I here? Moment of inertia. It is given by the formula mk square, where m is mass of the rigid body. Okay. What is K? Radius of gyration. Okay. So what is moment of inertia? Okay. I will explain tomorrow, next class. Okay. In the next class, I will introduce this moment of inertia. Okay. So in today's class, just I introduced the rotational motion. Okay. Kinetic energy and kinetic energy of a rotating body. Okay. Okay, so today I am going to close this one. Tomorrow I am going to explain this moment of inertia. I will introduce. Okay, take this.